Lovely to have you here, Mark. So, without wasting any time, please tell us about GoMining and what is your role at GoMining.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Great panel. I'm very happy to follow such an interesting discussion. So GoMining is a digital ecosystem built around Bitcoin. Our overall goal is to drive Bitcoin adoption. We've started to do that by building a digital mining capacity. We have over 3 million users running over 10 million terahash right now of mining power, earning Bitcoin rewards, obviously, and we're building out that ecosystem around value creation via Bitcoin. So we've allowed a frictionless capability to mine Bitcoin. Now we're building out capability to earn yield, collateralize Bitcoin, provide liquidity via Bitcoin lending, Bitcoin-backed lending, et cetera, et cetera. So we are one of the companies that is sort of bringing the promise of Bitcoin to life, and I'm very happy. I'm going to steal Elliot's phrase that adoption is a one-way door. For us, driving Bitcoin adoption is one of the main sort of strategic goals that we're focusing the company around. We are big believers in Bitcoin. We've been building our business since 2017, and it's been a great journey, and we're looking forward to sort of playing our part in driving the entire ecosystem and the entire adoption story forward.
And Mark, help us understand what BTCFi is all about. We heard about traditional finance, TradFi, decentralized finance, DeFi, but what is BTCFi?
So BTCFi is a term that we've seen thrown around and we think it makes sense. It's basically DeFi for Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin has had this traditional story as a store of value, the digital gold story, and that's worked very well for the first 15, 16, 17 years that Bitcoin's been around. But we think the story and the opportunity of Bitcoin is a lot more than just the store of value story. So I think the store of value has been solved to a large extent, right? You have ETFs, you have pension funds and whatnot starting to buy into Bitcoin. There's legislation, as we just heard, in the US and in other jurisdictions around adopting Bitcoin as a store of value. But we think the next sort of challenge or the next frontier is beyond just using it as a digital gold. All of the other economic activities that the Bitcoin blockchain is able to deliver to the user base. So we talked about, the reason for our conversation is we went out and conducted a survey of Bitcoin holders, and we asked 700 plus people that have been long-term holders of Bitcoin, what else do you want to do with Bitcoin? And people said, yeah, great, I would like to earn yield, I would like to have some sort of passive income, yield, staking, whatever. I would like to have liquidity around Bitcoin as an asset, and I'd like to be able to do other things that people normally do, economic activities around more of a currency aspect as opposed to a store of value aspect. And that's, to our mind, that's what BTCFi is building out those capabilities around Bitcoin that go far beyond just the store of value, sort of value creation.
And talking about BTCFi, as you mentioned, the topic of this discussion as well, demand for BTCFi is there, but it lacks user. What do you mean by that?
Right. So, sort of building on the previous question, people want to do a lot more with their Bitcoin holdings, but there's a lot of issues around adoption and around the friction that is inherent with all of those additional ancillary economic functions around Bitcoin. So people have adopted the store of value conversation, but using that sort of store of value as an everyday economic asset becomes more challenging. There's a lot of BTCFi solutions, various protocols, bridges, staking solutions that are very difficult to use. So A, they're difficult to use. B, they don't solve the issues around security concerns. So again, since people have adopted the store of value conversation, you now have Bitcoin assets storing a significant amount of people's wealth. So they're in a very expected way, very careful about using those assets for different activities other than the store of value. So if you're going to say, here's a credit card or here's a debit card, whatever, payment card that can link to your Bitcoin holdings and can let you spend Bitcoin in normal everyday fashion, it's very normal for people to have a security concern about, okay, how secure is my Bitcoin that I've been holding for years and years and watching appreciate, and it's now probably comprising a significant amount of somebody's wealth. Is that payment solution answering those concerns? Is that payment solution sort of keeping in mind that that is something that people worry about and providing an answer to that in a way that's comfortable for the users?
And what we have seen in recent years, and people who are early adopters as well, they're holding quite a lot of Bitcoin, but they're still reluctant to put their Bitcoin to work to generate extra yield. Why do you think is it? What do you think?
Well, we think the demand is there, but the solutions are not, and it's in a lot of ways it's very reminiscent of the early sort of Bitcoin story, where the appreciation was taking place, but acquiring Bitcoin, keeping Bitcoin in a safe and secure fashion was difficult, right? And it took a few years and a number of products to come to market to remove that friction around buying Bitcoin, storing Bitcoin in a secure fashion, in a safe fashion that made sense for everyday users. And we think the other sort of interesting realization out of the survey that we conducted was that there's a fairly significant difference between the target audience that is interested in DeFi solutions on Ethereum, on Solana, on other blockchains, and the target audience that is interested in BTCFi solutions. So the Bitcoin holding audience is much more conservative. And because the store of value sort of story has been told and adopted, it's a lot less prone to experimentation. It's a lot less prone to trying out new solutions, different solutions, than the DeFi crowd, which is, you know, typical sort of bleeding edge adoption. And that difference is there, but the way that BTCFi solutions, the solutions around Bitcoin staking and yield and liquidity solutions have been built, have sort of tended to copy the DeFi approach. And we think that disconnect is part of what's driving this divergence between the demand is there, but the supply is not. The solutions are not there.
And what is the product market fit, and how does GoMining fit into that product market?
Great question. So, I mean, as I mentioned, our overall goal is to drive Bitcoin adoption, and we do that by creating an integrated ecosystem that provides for these economic services, economic options, products around Bitcoin holding. And we took those results, those survey results, to mean that our thesis that the demand is there is very much supported, but the product offerings are not, and they're not for a variety of reasons. So we're taking that to basically as our marching orders to start developing an integrated ecosystem that allows one to manage, own, yield, let me see, let me start at the beginning, mine, own, yield, stake, provide liquidity into and payment services around Bitcoin ecosystem. And that's sort of our next frontier in terms of the suite of products and services that we're looking to build.
And we're running out of time, but just briefly, I would like to have your thoughts on where do you see this BTCFi ecosystem in the future?
Well, we think that this is a little bit of a religious conversation, but different people have different thoughts around which blockchains are going to provide the better, more meaningful solutions going forward. As I mentioned, we're Bitcoin focused. We think that Bitcoin adoption will drive the rest of the ecosystem forward. We think that as the original blockchain, as the sort of the most dominant blockchain, Bitcoin will be sort of the make or break of the cryptocurrency space. And we think that if we manage to solve this issue of building products that are easy to use, and Apple is sort of the benchmark standard for the user experience and the UX UI conversation. If we manage to build services around the Bitcoin blockchain that are as easy and intuitive to use as Apple as a reference, then in a couple of years' time, most people, a lot of people's wealth will be in Bitcoin, but it won't just be sitting there as a dead weight sort of store of value. It will be powering everyday economic activity, and that's what will drive further adoption and further appreciation of Bitcoin.
On that note, thanks for sharing your thoughts, and thanks for bearing me for one more session. So thank you very much.
Thank you.